work in the three worlds which has to be done, nor anything to obtain which has not been obtained, yet I am engaged in work. Shri Krishna first talked about an ideal concept, and if it was difficult to see this ideal concept, then he gave the example of Janak and other kings. If Arjuna thinks that Janak and others were historical figures, because people will always give that excuse that how can one apply things that people did in history did in modern times, because now it's the Kali Yuga. Shri Krishna says that it does not matter about the era, because these principles apply to every age and era. If Arjuna says that such things were possible for Janak in the past, in this situation and the circumstances, but not now, then Shri Krishna says to look at his own example. Shri Krishna has nothing to do in the three worlds. Not only that, there is nothing that he needs to obtain which has not been obtained. Yet, he is still engaged in work. He still works. After saying, whatsoever a great man does, the same is done by others as well, Shri Krishna talks about himself in verses 22, 23 and 24. He talks about his own ideal. Swami Madhusudan Saraswati ji gives a very beautiful explanation for this in his commentary of the Gita. He says that Arjuna knows that this is Shri Krishna himself. It's very good to give the example of Janak to Arjuna, but Janak's not Shri Krishna's, Arjuna's ideal. Arjuna's ideal is Shri Krishna himself. Shri Krishna understands this, and therefore he starts talking about himself. If Shri Krishna is Arjuna's ideal, then Arjuna should know how Shri Krishna lives his life, because he is following him. Shri Krishna has nothing to do. Arjuna earlier said that he did not want the kingdom of pleasures, but what does Shri Krishna need here? What does Shri Krishna need to obtain? Does he want a kingdom? Does he want pleasures? Does he want fame? No, he does not want any of this. He has already obtained everything that there is to obtain. There is nothing that he has yet to obtain. Yet, he is still engaged in work. Shri Krishna keeps on working. This is how Shri Krishna inspires Arjuna to act. Shri Krishna addresses Arjuna, look, Pārtha, third word of this verse. He addresses Arjuna as Pārtha. Pārtha has three meanings. One is the son of Putha. Kunti's birth name was Putha. Many people do not know what the name Putha was. The story in the scriptures is such that Vasudeva and Putha were brother and sister. Vasudev's father was called Shrusen. Putha was later given to the king Kunti since he was devoid of children. This used to happen and still sometimes happens nowadays. Kunti raised Putha as his own daughter, and Putha's name became Kunti. Thereafter, it remained Kunti for her whole life. Therefore, the Pandavas could be either called Kunteya or Pārtha. I always say this, the Indian culture is the only culture where sons were addressed by the mother's names. Kunteya, Pārtha. You never find this anywhere else in the world, and if you do, let me know, but I don't think you will. Many people ask why Shri Krishna calls Kunti his paternal aunt, because they can't find the context of this earlier. Kunti or Putha is his paternal aunt because she is the daughter of Shrusen and the sister of Vasudeva, who is Shri Krishna's father. Because she was given to Kunti Bhoja, we do not see many events when both Kunti and Vasudeva, brothers and sister in the Mahabharata. Shri Krishna is reminding Arjuna that he is Putha's son. The second meaning of Pārtha is Puttavino Puttaya Pārtha, meaning son of the earth. Putha means the earth. With this meaning, Shri Krishna is awakening us all because we are all descendants of this earth. Shri Krishna is giving us all inspiration. The third meaning of Pārtha is Pa Parameshvara Atho Yasya Iti Pārtha, meaning one whose purpose is God. One whose reason for living is God is Pārtha. Shri Krishna is implying that Arjuna has such a great purpose and yet he is not acting. Shri Krishna has no reason to act and yet he is acting. And why is Shri Krishna acting? Because in this verse, Shri Krishna says that he has nothing to obtain and that there is no reason to act in the three worlds and yet he is still acting. It is very natural that Arjuna now has the question of why is Shri Krishna acting? We are thinking of excuses not to act, where Shri Krishna has no reason to work and yet he is still working. Why is this? Shri Krishna gives his answer in the next verse.